Quleaqtuarput isagutingaroq ingilraan. Tareerumin isagutivluni. Ilisimatqugivsigin Iñuniaqniptikun Iñuptinniklo.
Pakalagipsi, welcome to Ukpeagvik Inupiat Corporation, UIC. We are a shareholder-owned company, but as you will see in this video, we are not your typical corporate shareholders. We are whalers and subsistence hunters. We are stewards of our Iñupiat culture. And we are many companies united by the UIC mission to enhance the lives of our shareholders.
It is critically important for people coming into our community that want to work for our company to understand who we are, not only culturally, but who we are as a people, as a whole, as a society, and what we stand for, and what we believe in.
In this video, we will introduce you to our land, our culture, our values, and our corporation. It is our hope that you will take pride in being a part of the UIC family and in helping us protect the Iñupiat culture for generations to come. Thank you for watching.
UIC is Alaska Native Village Corporation for Barrow, Alaska. It takes its name from the community's original Iñupiaq name, Ukpeagvik, which means the place to hunt snowy owls.
Barrow, you're not going to see pavement unless you go to the runway, so it has that remote feeling.
Barrow is the northernmost community in America, bordered by the Beaufort and Chukchi Sea. There are no roads to get here. It takes a 3-hour flight from Anchorage. In the winter, the sun doesn't come up much, but in the summer, we have continuous daylight, and you can see for miles and miles in every direction.
When you look at the tundra, you'll see a lot of small animals. If you look close enough, a lot of birds, shorebirds. And then summertime, if you even look over the ocean, you can see belugas. If you looked when there's kind of a little ice left, and you could see walruses. Sometimes they'll come up on the beach. You could see bearded seals and seals. It's just more than beautiful.
When I'm out on the water, there's really no other feeling like it. I feel a lot of freedom, just being out on the ice on the boat with my friends. In fact, when I was there this summer, I went out walrus hunting with my best friend. It was a very rare, calm day. We turned off the boat and we just sat there on the water. And the water was so glass and so calm that you couldn't distinguish where the ocean and the sky met. It all looked the same. And the only thing that differentiated it was the pieces of ice.
I call that ocean out there, it's my beautiful garden. Because I never go hungry as long as that ocean is out there.
Yes, we continue to subsist off the ocean in the land. We hunt for food, and that's basically what we continue to do, and we'd like to continue that with our children and keep teaching that to our children, and for them to know that this continues today.
I don't know, it's just beautiful. Our land is beautiful.
The skills and knowledge to live off the land and sea have been passed on through generations.
And for hundreds and hundreds of years, our people have survived because of the knowledge and the wisdom that they have gotten from the elders. And most of the time, the younger folks were taught by the elders how to live, what to expect, how do you approach a nanook, how do you approach a whale. You know, you had to know these things in order to subsist on them.
I mean, I could build a dog sled if I wanted because my dad taught me how. I can build a cabin if I wanted because my dad taught me how. I can go out and hunt because my dad taught me how to hunt.
Thousands of years ago, our ancestors developed a deep understanding of the environment and its resources. They created hunting, fishing, and whaling tools and continually refined their techniques. When European whalers made contact in the 1800s, we incorporated their ideas with ours and we started trading. It wasn't until 1944 that a cash economy was even introduced.
Yeah, for those of us that were born into the territory of Alaska pre-statehood, life was pretty structured through government agencies. You had the hospital, you had the school, and at the time pre-discovery of oil and gas, we had to scrape for heating fuel, whether it was coal, firewood, and later on diesel. So pre-statehood, we had a pretty rough life, but we were rich in resources.
We had stove oil then, but when the stove oil ran out, wow. I can remember the time when we'd wake up to a frozen wash basin. Before oil and gas, I think we were taught very well how to kiddiok, how to aluaksak.
Eventually, electricity replaced seal oil lamps. Snow machines replaced dog teams, but one thing that will never change is our Iñupiat values.
Having respect for others, having respect for the environment, sharing. When we're prosperous, we share. Compassion, having compassion for our fellow man and for those that we are privileged and honored to work with on a day-by-day basis. Pamaroingnak. Being cooperative, working together in the spirit of cooperation for the betterment of the corporation and the shareholders we serve. We have built those core values into our business practices because we feel these are the fundamental, universal laws that exist within the global community, especially for Iñupiat.
Well, certainly there were a lot of values that we hold dearly, but there's one thing that always stands out is that the love that is within the community, the love that is within a whaling crew, the love of being part of a company, working for a company.
You respect everything, absolutely everything. People, things, belongings, beliefs, religion. Respect everything. And you love your children.
Knowledge of our Iñupiaq language is very important. It is who we are as people. When I was growing up, we were punished for speaking Iñupiaq, even though that was the only language we knew. My generation is bilingual, but very few of our children can speak Iñupiaq, so we are working very hard to keep our language alive.
I think for our people, it's important to preserve our language because we're a unique culture and tradition. And if we preserved our language, it would help our activity, our cultural activities. It would make them easier, I think. And it's just a big part of the Iñupiaq identity, along with whaling, is what the language is. So preserving the language is very important to me. I think my favorite is It's a word I learned from my dad, and I asked him, hey, what's the longest word you know? And he said that, and it's someone who follows the law real well, I believe.
I'm not very fluent. I was part of the generation that kind of lost touch. When I hear it spoken, I can understand it. My parents who are fluent in Iñupiaq can have a conversation with my 6-year-old, and I'm sitting there like the black sheep. Okay, I can understand you guys, but I can't join in this conversation. So I think it's amazing what the North Barrow School District is doing with the immersion program, with the Iñupiaq program to bring it back. It's amazing, it really is, because I know there's some cultures where it's dying and a lot of them don't take it very seriously, but in the North Slope it's taken very seriously.
I think it's very important because the Iñupiat language, you know, was never written down by our ancestors. Everything is passed down by telling stories.
The way we can preserve it is through Eskimo dancing. We teach them the words of the dances and we show them the motions.
Every dance tells a story, a different kind of story, and I love watching the different dance groups that perform, and just hearing them sing in Iñupiaq is very powerful. It's the feeling that I get is just like I'm home.
It's stories about our past, because these songs were made by people from a long time ago, and so it gives us a sense of connection to our past, because we're learning what they're trying to teach us by dancing. These are mukluks, and we use these to dance when we're performing. So it's seal skin and wolverine and polar bear seal, and these were made by a woman who actually chewed them. So yeah, back in the day, they'd chew it to tenderize it so they can shape it, and then they crimp it to make these nice little edges there. And so these are very special to me.
I think the most important thing in our culture to me is the sharing part.
Thank you very much.
The sharing part is what keeps our community together.
More soup?
I would say I think the world needs to do a little more sharing and giving so they could have a more peaceful life.
That's going to let me live to be 100 years old.
One of the things that I love doing is teaching other people how to build umiaks from the bottom on up. And for me to work with students that are willing to take in that knowledge, the hands-on training, it really touched my heart for them to actually come up with something, you know, that is 3D, three-dimensional, and it's just awesome.
To this day, our culture, our activities, and our way of life revolves all around whaling. Whaling feeds the community in many ways.
Whaling has always been the central community social event that we held in high esteem. For example, the Umeliks, the whaling captains, they're on a social level that we have deep respect for. Consider 200 years ago, one whale fed an entire community. And when that whaling captain provided for the community, there was great joy, there was fulfillment, there was a spiritual link, and there was the celebration of life in June all around the coastal communities to celebrate that gift.
Whaling is something that we take seriously. We've been doing it on a yearly basis for thousands of years. And it is something that is very much in us.
I can't say enough about whaling because as a whaling captain, it's spiritual. You know, for those that have been waiting all year to get out there, oh, it's just like being in paradise.
The preparation for the spring hunt, we try and catch our tutu for the sinew?
You make the sinew from the tendons of a tutu. What you do is you flash freeze them, or you freeze them, and then you tear them into threads, and then you weave them together, and there you have the thread for the sinew. And the sinew is used for the skin boats, and it keeps them together, meaning the boat won't sink.
And then from there, we have to go after the uguruk. The uguruk, we got to give it time to render, and we got to try and catch it on the hottest times of the summer.
There's usually about anywhere from 9 to 12 skins, and there's usually a team anywhere from 10 to maybe 15 ladies that will get together and they will pray. It's because skin sewing is very important. Every stitch counts. You pretty much have the lives of everybody who is going to be in that skin boat when they go to harvest the whale. I still have yet to learn how to do this, and I'm beyond amazed by just the work that these women actually dedicate themselves to do this. It's just by far phenomenal.
Preparing the skin boat, the women and the spiritual awareness that they have. Our lives are in their hands when they sew the bearded seal skin together. And every stitch is a lifesaver. Every stitch holds the fabric of our cultural identity together.
The crew get to bring in the boat or the Ukpeagvik frame and stretch out the skin, make sure that it's going to fit and make sure it's the right size.
Once that is completed and all those patch holes are patched up, the men take the frame, put the skin over the frame. There's a little preparation before the skin can go on the frame as well. We need to oil it down with the ring seal blubber. We have to oil the frame down so the skin's able to slide very easy, and to stretching it. Once the skin's been placed over the frame, we start lacing it to the frame as they're working together in unison, basically.
Start getting your camping stuff, your gas, your food, cutting trail.
It takes many hours of preparation. You can cut one trail just the width of the snow machine, and it takes probably 3 or 4 more weeks to get that trail widened out enough for you to tow your slit out and your whaling gear out onto the ice. Oh, we have to patiently wait. We don't go pursuing every whale. If the currents are too fast, we should not be out there because it creates a dangerous situation for us. So we have to monitor ocean currents, the tide fluctuation, wind direction.
That east wind called Iñupiaq, Iñupiaq. It's a good time to stay out there. There's sloping water, and whales come through sometimes right on the edge of the shore fast ice,
When we're out on the ocean, we're sitting in our skin boat, and we're waiting for the whales to come in paddling distance. And when they do, the men all hop into the boat and we start paddling to the whale. Before the Yankee whalers came in the late 1800s, they used to stab the whale to death when they were whaling. But when the Yankee whalers came, they brought the weapons that they used to kill whales, and they were the darting gun. And that's what I'm holding right now. And we also have the shoulder gun that we use also. We could try to kill it as quick as we can so that the whale doesn't suffer at all.
Iñupiaq is the skin of the whale that to us is a delicacy. And the quack is the whale meat that has been stored inside an ice cellar. What we're taught is we need to clean the ice cellar every year so the whale can have a clean place to be put away. That shows us we got respect for the whale.
That's how whaling has been done in Barrow since time began, and it still goes on the same today. The way we make the boat is the same. The way the women sew the boat skins together is the same. The way we distribute the whale at Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Nalukatak, it's all done the same. And we always thank God for the gift of the whale.
Any crew that catches a whale in Barrow, everybody is excited. Everybody will be yelling for joy. It's a very exciting time in Barrow.
Everything that I've learned from my dad and going out whaling has helped me to be a better business person. There's a connection there.
You know, we're on the edge of the ice, and we set up our boat, and we got to make sure everything is in place. The naulak, the supun, the avatakpag. When we harvest the whale, everybody's, you know, everything is done right. You know, the harpooner was in the right place, the gunner was there, the buoy was there, the paddle, and how we apply to our business practices, it's very similar. We got to put the right people in place. You know, we got to have the right equipment.
Cooperation, working together, preparation throughout the whole year, making sure that our tools and our implements, they call it nutaqsa, that they're clean, they're ready. All of that is a part of how we work at UIC. Everything we prepare for whaling, whether it's preparing the tools, I mean, we call it in our work, sharpening up the pencil and making sure that we're profitable, cooperating, working as team members. So all these things that we do at the whaling camp, whaling preparation, year-round, are a part of our corporate implementation of how we want to prosper and ask our employees to move in that direction with us.
UIC was founded in 1973 with this community spirit in mind. It was one of over 200 village corporations created under the provisions of the Alaska Native Claims Settlement Act, or ANCSA.
We had concerns for improving life here in the Arctic. We were poverty-stricken, third world country status. So ANCSA came into the picture. And when ANCSA was passed December 18, 1971, it was historical. It was a milestone for the nation. And the thing that it brought to first Alaskans, the native people, is we incorporated either as regional corporations or as a village corporations. The benefit has been the economic strength that we have.
The settlement mandated that Alaska Natives give up a large portion of their traditional lands and all subsurface rights. In exchange, we received title to our remaining lands and money to create regional and village corporations. UIC land encompasses over 200,000 acres in and around Barrow. Many of our people were involved in the native claims negotiations and went on to set up our corporation. Our whalers and hunters became lobbyists and corporate executives overnight, and we rose to the challenge.
I think they appropriated like $12 million for the North Slope, and out of that $12 million, UIC was very successful on building its corporation from those proceeds, and it's made UIC where it is today.
We've had the good fortune over the years to have strong leadership that has placed us within the Alaska's 49er list statewide, which we feel we can continue to strengthen.
Today, the UIC family of companies employs thousands of people worldwide, and we continue to incorporate the values and traditions of our ancestors into our daily business practices.
UIC is a company that helps people get jobs, train them, and become part of the team of UIC family of companies.
UIC's come a long ways from where UIC's been to where they are today.
UIC is a company that I'm proud to work with and for, especially the 2,500 shareholders that we serve. I think UIC has a very bright future, an unlimited future.
As a UIC employee, you are now a part of our story, so welcome to the UIC family.
We hope that you will embrace our values in your work and in your personal life so that you may succeed in both.
Pilrosivut atukhluwe, Anguneanikun, inyuneanikun, tareumi nakan nunami. Koyanarev sigin unakinyaktuarafsiyon.